What's good, y'all? It's Coffee. Tapping back in with some hip-hop news. Got a couple topics to hit on with y'all real quick. Make sure to tap in. But peep it, rapper Young Buck got bagged up, got arrested in a domestic dispute. Allegedly cutting up the seats in his girlfriend's car, vandalizing them in some sort of way. All caught on surveillance camera. And you know who was the very first to take time out of their busy schedule, making hits on TV, doing all kinds of big business. 50 Cent, the most petty man in the rap game. As y'all see, 50 shared, a screenshot of the report coming from The Source, which, man, real quick, The Source sucks nowadays, right? We're going to do a video on that. Let me know if y'all are interested in that or not. But anyways, you see it says Young Buck arrested for vandalizing ex-girlfriend's home and car. And Fifth shared that picture and said, Buck, B unit, buy actual unit. Leave that girl alone. She didn't know he had all this ish going on. None of us did. And he best be coming up with my money. And then he tagged what brand, his cognac brand and whatever that is. What is that? Champagne or whatever. Fifth, man. Like, his spidey senses must have been tingling, because he was first to report on this, or react to it, I should say. And you know he is not letting up off Young Buck, man. You heard him. He said, Buck better have my money. You know, how long ago was that? 6 months to a year ago or whatever. As we know, they've been in a dispute for the longest time. For the longest time. Billy Joel voice. And I still to this day don't understand why, when it didn't work out the first time around on G-Unit, Buck back in what was that, 2013 or so, did the whole G-Unit reunion. And listen, Buck, you could have did that. Just made a tour out of it, dropped some mixtapes or whatever. No, he signed the contract, got back in with G-Unit. And you know what? How many years has this been now? He's back in limbo, purgatory, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He's back here again. You know, him and Fifth fell out, disputes. Fifth ain't going to let him up out of that contract. He wants his brethren. And 6 months ago or so, like, there was all these reports. Buck was like, yo, new music on streaming platforms. I'm doing me, this, that, and the third. And it seems it's back to Fifth striking down all his music, or I don't know. He's just going to recoup it. Who knows? Young Buck just talk about making the same mistakes over and over again. As we know, he kept getting caught up, fucking around with you know who. We're not even going to get it all off into that. But, this girlfriend they're describing as his ex-girlfriend, I believe is the same one that busted shots at him, allegedly, a while ago, within the past year or so, when reportedly she wanted passwords to them social media accounts, and Buck wasn't giving them up, and I guess he threw a can my bad, y'all, can of paint all over the crib, vandalized the crib, and then dipped off out the scene. It was looking bad. They both got arrested. Some time has passed back during Buck's Vlad interview. He wouldn't speak on it. More than likely, both those cases have been thrown out. But now Buck has a whole new case. As you see, it's being reported that David Doo-Doo Brown, a.k.a. Young Buck, called the ex-girl and said, yo, I'm coming over. She was like, yo, get the fuck up out of here. Don't come over to the crib. He came over. She wasn't trying to let him in. Allegedly, reportedly being the key word, She then alleged when she wouldn't let him in, he was kicking the door. And he left, like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And she checked the surveillance cameras, went out, seen that the cars were vandalized. There's some reports saying he messed up the doors, and I'm hearing other reports that he vandalized the inside of the car. And man, like, what the fuck, Buck? This ish is crazy. You see, Fifth said she didn't know he had all this crazy ish going on. None of us did. And Fifth has always had no short of jokes and poking fun at Buck over these past couple years. But he, not just took some shots at Buck here, also seized the opportunity to be like, we didn't notice about Buck, all that extracurricular activity he was reportedly up to, and it seems he almost feels bad for this girl. Well, she tried to stick up for Buck before when they got caught. Y'all remember that when they got caught in the grocery store and all that on surveillance? She was sticking up for Buck, but I don't know. I guess once he wasn't giving up them passwords, she got sick of it all. In other words, man, Jim Jones is reportedly a hero.
Why? Because you saved somebody's life, Jim. Tell me what happened.
We was in Miami doing was that a crypto event?
Oh yes, I want to talk some crypto talk with you today.
We was on downtime at the condo by the pool. Hear somebody screaming my name, and I turn around, and my man Flea is definitely not in good shape. Doesn't look like he could breathe.
Was he calling your name or somebody else was calling you?
My man Dub was calling my name because he was kind of freaking out. I guess he didn't know what to do. Me neither. When I turned around, and I don't know, man. I ran over there and I was shocked like everybody else. I was like, well, we gotta fave it. It just felt like this God grabbed my hands and put it on him, honestly. Because I just snapped into some shit that I didn't know I had. And
what happened? Was he having like a heart failure or you don't even know?
What happened? He couldn't breathe. He wasn't responding. He started falling out of his chair. He was a little bit foaming at the mouth. It was just like you could tell that
he wasn't well.
Yeah, like you could tell he wasn't getting no oxygen at all. And not only he wasn't eating none enough, and so it wasn't like he was choking or anything. I'm just like, sometimes your diet, running too hard, running too fast. That's why you gotta stay in the gym. Health is really wealth. Like you gotta take care of yourself out here. You never know what can sneak up on you. You never know what things going on in your body that you wasn't aware of.
Yeah, no, that's real.
Wear and tearing and not taking care of your body, it presents itself in some of the worst ways, you know.
All right, y'all. So you let me know, man. Does that sound like Jim's homie? I believe he said his name was Freeze. He's like, does this sound to y'all like he was flucking around, got a dose of that Fenty Wap or something? Like they're like, Jim, you saved someone's life. What happened? He's like, I don't know. They asked him too, is it like a heart condition? What was going? Jim's talking about, I don't know. That's why you got to stay in the gym. You know, you could be not taking care of yourself and your body could present it in some other way. Like, yo, that ish sound like an OD to me. And they're in Miami, you know, one of the party capitals of the country where people go to turn the fuck up out there around South Beach. But for real, he's talking about he's foaming at the mouth. He couldn't breathe. He ran over. Like, shout out to Jim Jones for saving his homie's life. But seriously, y'all, like, all jokes aside, I mean, come on, what does that sound like to y'all? Jump in the comments. He's talking about stay in the gym. No, stay off that, you know, suspicious cheap packs you get off the block, man.
Nice to showcase.
It was nice to showcase. It was a lot going on in that element. He was able to channel his fucking energy in the right way. You heard? You know, my attitude different.
When did you know?
I just knew when we got in there because my attitude is different.
What do
You
you mean?
dig? Like, I really don't play no games. You can't touch me. You can't do none of that. You dig? It was just too much of that going on.
But when
So I had
did
to
you know in that night, did you say, oh God?
You're not
When
listening
did
to
you
me.
know?
I was already over the night when I first came in there.
Why?
Just was too much going on for me. You dig? It was too chippy, as Styles would say. It was way too chippy. I'm not a chippy person. You dig? I don't like playing no games. I don't like people touching me. I don't like none of that.
Yeah.
You heard? It was too much of that going on.
Yeah, too much happiness.
Yes, and I know me. You heard? So I said, you know what? I'm going to fall back and I'm just going to figure out the pieces and go on as we do it. But
I really wish there were less people on the stage.
I really wish it was a little bit better setting also. But for the most part, the energy was there. Everybody in the world from New York City was in the crowd. It was dope. The event, I don't think they will ever have an event with so much energy ever again in New York City. That was like being in the battle royal in the middle of the ring. It was dope.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I cannot deny that. But for me, it was a little bit different when I was on stage. It just was. It was an element that I wasn't prepared for. Like my I don't even know how to say the word. It's not made like that. I don't know. But I'm tip my hat to him. When Cam gets an interview, he's going to say, this is something that Jim wanted. He offered to give me his money to do this event. Yes, nigga, I did.
Does Cam regret it?
I don't know what. I haven't spoken to him since the verses.
Shut up! Y'all didn't regroup after that? Is he mad y'all did it? You
I
don't
don't know. Cam making a shitload of money. Who cares?
So you heard all that, man. You know, on the breakdown, the coffee breakdown of things, man. Killer Cam and Jim. I don't know. Dipset had just took a major L to the Lox, man. And the Lox is one of the dopest ever, man. And then the Lox went and showed him up, did a better Kith freestyle than Dipset did last year. Y'all hit the comments and let me know if you guys agree with that. They're like, yo, we beat you on the verses. Then we shit on your Kith freestyle with ours at Madison Square Garden, you heard? But, you know, he's talking about he wants smoke with Jada. I guess that's going to be his attempt to try to get some get back for Dipset taking that L. And what's wild, too, is it sounds like Jimmy was the one. That's so wild, man. How is Dipset so disorganized like that? We always know of, you know, Jim, Juelz, and Cam being cool, falling off, being cool, falling off. You know what I'm saying? But Jim describes it as he wanted to do the verses to the point that he offered Killer Cam his take from it. Like, you can have my money, Cam. Let's just do this. And then they go out there and get shown up. And you heard him trying to make all kinds of excuses. Yo, the energy was just crazy. There was too much going on. I tip my hat to the Lox for coming through in a major way, the way they did and all that, man. Like, yo, Dipset should have just... Like, that'll be a dope event that'll go down in history, but it will always go down in the books that that Dipset took a major L and frankly got embarrassed. And now you want get back at Jada? I don't know, bro. And something interesting that him and Angie were talking about here was how Cam is getting so much money. You know, it's been long rumored that Killer Cam, I mean, who knows if Killer Cam's still out here. Yeah, who knows exactly how Killer Cam's getting money, but it's been long rumored that Killer Cam owns a lot of McDonald's franchises and, you know, has all kinds of investments going on. Like, he got in a rap game, got his money, and got a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak, where he don't really have to be participating in hip-hop like that. Think about that, y'all. But jump in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about all this. You know, the Lox embarrassing Dipset was Jimmy's homie on that F3NTY. Y'all think he's bugging to want to get some get back at Jada? I think he just wants to get back on that versus stage all by his lonesome so he can try and make up for that L. But there's no making up for that. And fifth roast and buck. Let's discuss it all below in the comments. Thanks for tuning in. This has been another episode of J Coffee Talk. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and stay tuned. Content dropping every day. Talking music, news, sports, and more. And I'm gone.